Hello, hello, YouTube friends. I am so excited today because I'm talking to one of my good friends, longtime friends, and my photographer and videographer, Maggie Kirkland. Yay!
Hello.
So a lot of you don't realize that you actually see Maggie all the time in my videos. She set up my beautiful studio. She takes all of my photos. She's actually behind the scenes magic in almost everything you see. And now you actually get to meet her. Thank you so much for being on here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Vanessa. This is so exciting.
Okay, so I had this idea and I realized that what's happening more and more is our profile pictures are old and stale. Be honest, when's the last time you updated your dating profile pic, your LinkedIn profile pic, your headshot? Like 5 years, like 10 years, like 15 years? It's so hard to update those pictures because you're like, I have to hire a professional photographer. I have to get my makeup and hair done. So what I wanted to do is sit down with Maggie to talk about how do we do a home photo shoot? How do we create really beautiful pictures with just our phone, no fancy schmancy lights, still look our best and look professional? So Maggie, are you going to take us through this step by step? Can we do it?
We can do this. I'm so excited to be teaching this.
Okay. So first of all, by the way, if you don't know Maggie, even though you've seen her work all over the place, MaggieKirkland.com, she also teaches amazing photography courses. So not only is she my photographer, videographer, she also teaches other photographers how to take good photos. So she's going to be giving us actually really a lot of her knowledge for free because she's amazing and she's generous. And so we're going to actually dive into it. Maggie, you have a bunch of slides to show us, right?
I do. So thank you so much for that introduction, Vanessa, and thank you for introducing me to your audience. Not only do I love teaching photographers, but one of my biggest passions is teaching people like you, just because we're in this world now where everyone has to create content all the time. So this is like such an honor to be talking to your audience and be teaching this right now. So as Vanessa is saying, I am going to run through a bunch of slides and I'm going to do a little tutorial right here in my living room, and all of the slides you're going to see, we took photos in our living room with our iPhone. So
and
I'm going to be using
a similar time, right? Like similar lighting.
Yes.
So this is like a crazy cool technology thing that we're allowed to do with technology. Maggie and Lacey, who you're going to see in a little bit, took these photos at about the same time yesterday, and we are purposely filming this now so you can see actually what would happen in this tutorial. Oh goodness. Okay, I'm so excited. Okay, show me all the good stuff.
So step one is finding a good location. And for all the photos in this presentation, you're going to see that we use this living room right behind me. You don't need a lot of space, but you do need a couple of very important key things. And the very first one is going to be natural light. So natural light means that window that you're going to, I'm using in all the photos in this example, is natural light is from the sun outside. There's no light bulbs, no electricity involved.
And you just
you want to hear it,
right?
Yes. Yeah, you just need one window. You don't need more than that. The more light, the better, but just one is plenty. And then make sure it's a fairly clean space. You don't want to have to like redo your whole house or living room or office or whatever. So to start with, make sure it's fairly clean.
Always
and
good.
Then, and then we're going to do a couple test shots with your iPhone in that space. Just, hold it up, do some selfies and make sure that, you're liking what you're seeing. And now I'm going to show you how to find the best, like how to kind of use the lighting you have to make sure that the photos look the best they can. Mm-hmm. So this is how you find the best lighting.
And by the way, again, people listening like this, it sounds like people always are like, do I take a picture in front of the window with the window behind me to the side? This is like the most important thing. And this is like you're leveling up to photographer level knowledge. Okay. All right. I'm ready. Sorry, Maggie. Go ahead.
And also, of all the things, lighting is so essential to photography. It's literally called writing. The word photography means writing with light. Did you know that? So photo is light and graphy means writing. So light is very important to photography. So if you can get your lighting in, anyone can take a good photo. So the best lighting is going to be indirect or diffuse lighting. And that means that none of the sun is actually touching you. So I'm going to show you some bad examples right now.
I love it. Like, this is like it's like a makeover. I'm so excited. Like, I make these all the time. This is why, like, you stand in front of a window, it doesn't work. So when it's behind you, I can see you're dark.
Yes. Diffused or indirect lighting is what we're going for. And I'm going to show you some examples of common mistakes I see people make all the time. Everywhere I go in life, when people are taking photos on their iPhone, especially indoors, what they do is they see the light. So they're like, there's light right there in the window. And then they walk over and they stand in the light, in the direct light, which is actually the opposite of what you want.
And
So
look, you can see, so Maggie, I love how you did this, Maggie. So you can see this is exactly what she did to get this bad photo. So the photo of her taking the photo is what you shouldn't do. And then the result that you see is that she's dark. Even though she's in the light, she's actually dark. Love it.
Yeah. And I'm going to be totally, I don't hate on myself, but in this tutorial, I do want to point out things that I'm uncomfortable with. So I don't love, bags under my eyes and wrinkles, and being lit from behind, you can actually see in the photo that there's like more of those things get exaggerated. So you can see more of like dark circles under my eyes, more, my teeth look kind of yellow and dark. My eyes look kind of dark. So
and that's all because of lighting. That's all because of lighting.
All right, let's look at another one. Okay, so then you would think, if it's not supposed to be behind me, why don't I turn around and have the sun on my face? And it's actually funny because everywhere I go with my job, when I'm photographing people, they say, oh, it's a sunny day. Isn't it just so wonderful? And I say, yeah, let's go stand in the shade. And they're like, the sun. And it actually isn't flattering. It actually does similar things to what I just said about how the light behind me, it kind of emphasizes wrinkles around the eyes, dark circles. You can see it really is harsh. And there's also like sharp shadows under my chin, and you still can't really see my eyes. They're squinty, and yeah, so it's not pleasant for the person having their photo taken. It doesn't, we love how sun feels, but we don't like it directly on us.
And like totally counterintuitive. When you hear people say, find the light, you immediately walk to a sunny window and you're like, and then you wonder why it doesn't look good. So this is extremely helpful.
Yes, so no sun should be touching you. So when you're taking a portrait, no sun touching you. So in this example, I'm almost there. So my face is now not in the sun. I'm facing the light, so I'm being lit fully. And you can see the whites of my eyes, you can see my teeth, circles under my eyes, wrinkles are like very much reduced. But I'm still being hit by the sun on my chest area there. So you can kind of see the stripes from the window are hitting me. So you want to make sure when you're doing a portrait that all of you is not being touched by sun. None of you.
It's like it burns you, right? Like we're also preventing skin cancer.
Yes. It's all about and this is the final. Yes, I used green on the slide so that we all know this is the good one. So it's very similar. You can see I'm still standing by the window. I'm still really close to the light. It's hitting my face from the front, but everything about the portrait that you can see, that's on the right-hand side of the screen, that I'm lit really evenly and well. And I like this. I prefer this one the most. And I think it's the best lighting of all of the 4.
100%. 100, and you're not hot. It works out.
Yes, exactly. No, yep. Healthy too. Here are all 4 of those photos side by side, just for a final comparison that you can see. The first 3 where the direct sunlight is hitting me, not good. And then the last one is the winner.
Woo, woo, woo. That was like super helpful. Okay.
Awesome. Now that you've found where the light is and how close to be to it and how to make sure it's lighting your face just right, we're going to talk about how to get flat and even light. So that is talking about the direction of the light. Now, this is something that happens all the time when Lacey and I are taking like photos together, or I'm taking a photo myself. You have to make sure, although you found the nice light, that your arm with your phone up isn't blocking the light. So you don't want shadows on your face. You can see the result on the right-hand side that half of my face is not fully lit. So make sure that your light is nice and even. And then another thing is, once you find that nice bright light, make sure that that it's hitting you fully face, like on your face front wise, and not just half of your face. So it kind of does the same thing that direct sunlight or being in too harsh a light does, where it's going to start bringing out, like you're not as bright, your teeth aren't going to be as bright, your eyes aren't going to be as bright, and it's going to maybe exaggerate things that you don't want to. You would rather have all of the light hitting you straight on. That's the most flattering. That's what we're looking for. And then here again, we're just going right back. So I am turned towards that light. I am facing it straight on, and I'm letting it light me up, and there's no direct sunlight, and it's looking good.
And also, I'll make a quick body language note here. which is this also helps for in terms of body language. When you're taking a picture, you want to actually be fronting. That's angling your body towards the camera. If I'm to the side, not only does that give me uneven light, it also looks like a distancing behavior. And distancing behavior is when you're avoidant or you're removed. It's literally like giving someone the cold shoulder. And so just another reason to try to be full frontal if you can.
I love it. That's interesting. I was actually going to ask you that later, so you answered. I was wondering, because oftentimes people move a lot in their photo shoots. They like look over their shoulder, and I was like, is that okay? Is that, I mean, that's kind of flirty, you know, but I was wondering.
So you actually nailed it. If you want to be flirty, right? If this is a dating app, then yeah, you can be that kind of coquettish. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are trying to do a professional photo, you want to be a like just like straight on. So it depends on your motives.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Oh, and there's the side-by-side comparison again. Just to let you know, the first two in this example, clearly my face isn't evenly lit all the way across. The last one, the light is perfectly bright all around my face.
And by the way, she is not using professional lights. She's not using a fancy camera. That last picture would be a great profile picture all on her phone with no professional lights. So I just want that's amazing. Like that's a beautiful photo that I would be happy to post on any headshot or website or LinkedIn. And so you don't need to go all fancy to get a really good home photo shoot. Just want to say that.
Yes. And our iPhones, oh my gosh, the cameras on our iPhones these days are just exceptional. You can do all types of photography on them, and natural lighting is the most beautiful anyways for portraits. So
and if you have a Google phone or Android phone, they also have great cameras too. So these concepts apply whether you're using a professional Canon amazing camera or your iPhone.
The Google phone, I think it's called the Pixel, has the most amazing camera on it. Whenever my cousin visits, I'm like, can you send me all those photos you took?
When Maggie says phone, you can swap that in, or iPhone, you can swap that in for any kind of phone. The concepts here are the same.
Absolutely. All right. And then the last thing that you're going to look for, and this is when you're taking a photo of somebody or having your photo taken, when you're doing a selfie, is to look for what I call the bright eye sparkles. You want lots of light and crystals and sparkly things happening in your eyes. So this example, I actually would love to, okay, so on the left-hand side, I'm as far away from the window as possible. And then in the middle, I stepped about halfway through my living room. And then in the last one is the photo right by the window. So when you look at my eyes across, you can see how it goes from kind of dark and gray all the way to super bright. And there's a lot of light in that final photo in my eyes. You can see a lot of like the window reflection and light. So that is what, as a professional photographer photographing people, that is the only thing I'm looking for. I'm just looking at their eyes. When's it going to get brighter and brighter? And that's the right spot.
Well, that's so cool. I never even knew that, Maggie. And you've been taking my photo for like 6 years.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Amazing.
Okay. So preparing yourself in the space. This is something I notice on people's Instagrams all the time, because Instagram is just a peek into everybody's life. And that is to have a cleaned up background. Clean up your space, make sure like the dog toys or the kids stuff is off of the couch and off the ground. And all of that is going to make your photo look professional. It's going to look like a professional photo shoot versus I'm at home and I'm getting a peek into your life. So if you're trying for a professional photo, you got to clean up your background. I have my lights on in this photo because I just wanted the background of this to look nice. But for your actual photos, when you're taking portraits at home, turn off all of your electric lights. They actually cast an orangey yellow hue, and it doesn't look the same as daylight. It's a different color. So you're kind of, you know how on Instagram you push the filter buttons and it like everything turns yellowy or everything turns blue. When you have lights on in your space, it's actually making you look orangey yellow, and we don't want that look. So turn off all your lights for your own photo shoot.
Love it.
Something I do for, I love like eye drops and chapstick. Those are just kind of basics to make you look nice and fresh and bright. For makeup, I would love any input you have on this, but I always tell people, if you are somebody who wears makeup, to amp it up just a little bit, like maybe about 25, 30%. So if you normally wear just like one, layer of eyeshadow, maybe like add a little bit more, make it a little bit darker. If you normally do like a non-colored chapstick, maybe do like a little bit of pink or something just to kind of amp it up, because when you do find that bright light, it's going to wash it all away. So do you have any input on makeup?
Yeah, I do. And so I also want to make a distinction here. This video that Maggie and I are making is for your home photo shoot, for your LinkedIn profile picture, dating profile pictures, headshot. If you have a brand, if you're an entrepreneur and you're taking website shots, you're taking big Instagram shots, you want to be an influencer, you're taking course shots, that's actually a different beast. And then I would really say you have to think very carefully about your makeup, because in those photos, you're trying to be a professional. You're trying to speak for your brand. If you're doing a LinkedIn profile picture or a home profile picture, yeah, you just want to be a little bit dialed up, like you on your brightest morning. I'll give a couple of very small tips if you're more in the professional bucket. Blue eye drops, they actually take away redness on your eyes. And this is only if you really want to use photos for a giant header, or you're using them for your book or something like that. So blue eye drops really help. And also lining the inner corner of your eyelids with white crayon or white makeup pencil.
Awesome. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about clothes. This is in the preparing. This is before we've taken on photos. So I just wanted to go over some clothing options. Lacey, we love you and we love your clothing options, but we're going to talk about some things that aren't as great for profile photos. So things that you want to avoid, as you can look across this, is the most awesome clothes. Just like hide away all your awesome clothes. I'm just kidding. You want to hide away anything that's like bright patterns, bold patterns. So subtle patterns are okay. Like you can see I'm wearing a pattern shirt in all those photos in this example. I'm wearing it again right now. But I also used a cardigan to kind of cover it up and tone down the pattern. But like the middle example here, her plaid shirt it's just too much. And it takes away from her face. When you glance at that photo, all you see is her shirt, and that's not the point of a profile photo. You want to look at their face first.
My rule of thumb is bold color, not bold pattern.
I love it. I've never even thought of it that way, but I do tell people like gem tones, like deep, rich, beautiful colors always look so good in photos on people.
Yes, like bright orange, royal blue, emerald green, but you wouldn't want an emerald green stripey crazy pattern.
Yes. And although I didn't feature it here, I have a sweatshirt I love wearing where it's like the top half is bright orange and the bottom half is white. It's too much. You know, it's not like, try to keep it one consistent color all the way across. Mm-hmm. And then here's some good examples we found in Lacey's closet. Although I don't want everyone to just pay attention to the color. I know it's blues and greens, but you can, like you just said, like wear all kinds of bold color. These were just ones that I liked that fit her body type. She looks professional in them, but also the second two are a little more casual, but I think they're great for a profile photo. Mm-hmm. Cool. Do you have any questions, or we're going to take the photo portion of
I think the next question that people get, I know that we're going to do a little tutorial here, is like, which pictures should I take, right? Like that's a big one. So there's two buckets here. Is if you're just looking for a profile photo, we're looking for professional clothing, just like Maggie mentioned, typically headshot or upper torso shot. If you can get a dead on one, you facing the camera straight on, that's going to hit a lot of your business needs. If you're an entrepreneur or you're a professional or you're an influencer, I highly recommend, Maggie is too modest, she won't mention it. I highly, highly recommend Maggie's course. And that's because this is a very small piece of just taking photos at home. She actually has a list of all the photos you should take for your brand. You have even sections on like different settings for every single filter on your phone. You have an entire list of every shot that you need as an entrepreneur or brand. And so if that's you, I would say you have lots of photos you should be taking: header photos, influencer photos, lifestyle photos, potential book photos. If you're just here with us today, I just want one good headshot of just your head and one good upper torso shot.
Thank you, Vanessa.
And by the way, I'm going to put, Maggie is going to be embarrassed, but I'm going to put her link to her course in the show notes below, as well as her website, so you can look at more photos as examples.
Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate it. All right, so let's get to the fun part where you get to take your own photo.
Yay!
Okay. So number one thing is to clean your camera lenses. Oh my goodness. I can't tell you. Yes, exactly, Vanessa. I always just use, Yeah, you can either have a piece of fabric. If you don't have a piece of fabric, literally just use your shirt. Like kind of like scrub the lens, And make sure you know where the lens is, actually. This is where the lens is. Do you see that tiny little, there's like a little tiny dot right at the very top. So that's the speaker, and there's a little dot right next to it. So that's where you're cleaning. You're just gonna like scrub that little, and if you're taking someone else's photo, just scrub all of the lenses on the back. Oh yeah, just like that. Okay.
Like it.
This is what happens, and this is what I see in people's photos very often. Actually, I'll be taking people's photos. Like if you're walking around outside and somebody's like trying to take a photo of their family, but you know they want to be in the photo, and I'll be like, hey, can I help? You know, people do that all the time. And then I hold up the lens and I'm like, ooh. I like scrub their camera.
That's your act of kindness, is you can just clean off people's lenses. Okay, love it. That's super easy.
So it makes it, yes, so simple, so easy. All right, and then the next thing, I just showed you where the lens was. So and if you're taking a selfie, it's right there on the front of the camera at the very top. So make sure, although your face is gonna pop up on the screen and you're gonna wanna connect and look at your own face, look up at the camera at the top. And then if someone else is taking your photo, make sure you're looking right into the lenses there. I'll show some examples right here. So this is me taking a selfie, and the one on the left is me looking at myself on the screen, which is a very subtle difference, but I'm definitely more connected on the right. I'm looking right at the lens.
Friends, if you just do this, your pictures are going to be 5,000 times better. It's the difference between making kind of eye contact and actually making eye contact. Boom. Love it. I like seeing it.
How do you, Vanessa, do you have any advice on what you think or how you coach yourself into connecting with lenses? Because you speak on camera all the time. You have your photo taken.
I know. I have, it's like a real mental trick. Like I literally like try to bore I'm trying to like look deep into your soul right now. Like I literally have to play a mental trick on myself, even though it's a black dot. I literally think of like everyone I know behind the camera. It's an absolute mental trick. It's so important, and it so matters here. You can just see how the example goes.
I do that too when I'm having my photo taken, because it's gruesome. If not, is that the right word? It's horrible to have your photo taken. I hate having my photo taken, which is why I'm the photographer. But whenever I have to get my photo taken, even doing a selfie, even doing these ones that you see on the screen, I have to look at the lens and just think of anybody that is going to be served by the reason why I'm taking this photo. If they need it, I'm going to connect with them. I have to
think of looking at us. Just be like, Vanessa's behind this lens. Maggie's behind this lens.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm doing a time note. We're close to 20 minutes. So yeah.
Okay. All right, so a lot of cameras these days have portrait mode, and I actually am undecided. I'm not like, don't love it, don't hate it. I think it's obvious. I think as a trained photographer, I see that they've used portrait mode, so my brain goes, oh, it's not a professional photo. They're using their camera. I like it sometimes, don't like it other times. I'm just gonna let you decide. Portrait mode, just to clarify, is when the background gets blurred out. So there's settings on a lot of cameras these days on your phone cameras that you can blur out the background. You decide. I'm gonna let you decide.
By the way, like it cannot hurt to take 2 versions of both and then let other people pick.
Yeah, and I also, like, if you have a really messy space, like use portrait mode. Like if there's too much going on in the background, blur that out.
Love it.
All right, and then a high angle. I think this is a pretty intuitive thing that most people know, because when you take selfies, you raise your phone up. So just to clarify, don't have your phone too low. I'm going to go through the 4 different ways. You know, if your camera angle is too low, this is when it's just even with my face. It's okay, not my favorite. This is the perfect angle for most people. I would say almost everyone, like just slightly above your eye level, and that is going to be the most flattering angle. And then
interesting note here is on our photo shoots, Maggie carries around a stepladder. Like literally, she carries a stepladder every single place that she goes, so she can get that slight above angle. So it really does matter if you can do it.
Yes, absolutely do. I brought it to this photo shoot. And then something that I find, it's kind of like a flirty angle that a lot of people do, where they like have their camera up really high. I feel like younger people do that too. They just kind of have the like big eyes, like looking up at the camera. That's not professional, so let's avoid that.
Soft high angle. I like it.
All right. And then there's the comparison of all of them. You can kind of see how my face shifts shape. So just slightly above is just perfect. So we love using a tripod for this. This removes your arm from the process. So when you're taking your selfie and your arm is showing up in your photo, this is going to eliminate that problem. So I do have a tripod and a head that I recommend for iPhones that it actually kind of extends and gets really nice and tall, but it's really lightweight. We'll put the link in this for that. So just make sure all the same things apply. You want the tripod to be up above you if you have to set it on something, or if you have to sit down to have it slightly higher. Make sure the tripod itself is not blocking the light. Let's go through those. So yeah, here's me setting up the tripod.
And Maggie, we're going to put a link to this, to some of Maggie's favorite gear. If you want to invest in gear, if you're doing this a lot, we're going to put some links to her favorite gear below. So don't worry about having to try to take notes.
I also recommend using a ring light. So I'm going to put that in the link notes too. But this little guy is so awesome. It's rechargeable, which I love. And it's super bright and very lightweight, very small. It can go with you. It also does exactly what I was talking about with lighting, which is it's front facing and it's lighting your whole face. So you don't even, you can actually eliminate a lot of the trying to find the right light because it already does that for you. This is an example of me using the ring light in a dark scenario. So you can see it lights up my whole face. All right, so I'm gonna spend just a little bit of time on filters and editing. This is a style preference. One thing I'm gonna say before we dive into that content is I think it's smart as a brand. If you're building a brand online, if you have to post something that represents you, I think it's smart to have a consistent look. I think jumping around between professional looking to casual to really contrasty to that faded, muted look that some people do, I think that comes across as unprofessional. So kind of find your editing style that you like and try to stick with that. I think that'll serve you better with your brand. Mm-hmm. So I love Foodie app. This is my new favorite. It's free. You can get it for free. There's upgrades in it, but just get it for free. Visco down below that is also free. Google Photos is also free. So get all of these apps on your phone and play around with them. Foodie app is amazing for smoothing out your skin.
Wow.
Now, I love it. The very first photo on the left is me, no filter, no Foodie app, just me taking a photo of myself. The middle one, you can see that it even brightened up my hair a little bit. It makes your teeth and eyes whiter, and it smooths out your skin. Oh my gosh, love it. And then the last one, I went a little too far with the skin tweaking on purpose. I just wanted to kind of demonstrate, don't go too far. You want to make sure you look like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
But I love Foodie app.
Wow. Tip. Oh, wow.
Yeah, this one I went way too far on the right. And I put a red box around it to say, don't do that.
Don't go too far, people.
Yes. The very first one is me, no editing. So that's not using Foodie app. The second one, I'm using Foodie app. And when you're in there, you just kind of slide the filter down just a little bit so it's not too harsh. And then the last one was me taking it way too far. So make sure you still have definition in your face and you can still see shadows and things.
And by the way, you don't have to use any of these, but you want to like your photo. You want to pop onto your LinkedIn profile and like the way that you look. So if that's no filters, rock on, amazing. If that's no makeup, sure, great. This can be a little way to make you feel like you're your best self if you want to.
I agree. And to that point, the first one in this is just off the phone and I loved it. I was like, this is actually what I would post. The second one is just using auto settings and Google Photos. It has a really great, gives it a little bit of pop of color. And then the last one, I would also like to state again, don't go too far with the editing. I did that on purpose. I just put a filter and I was like, oh, that you can do that and it looks horrible. So try to keep it as natural as you can. And then Visco is more of the muted, faded, vintagey look. I love their colors and stuff in there. If you like that style, try Visco.
I love, and they look a little bit different. They're very, it's different styles, right? Depends on what your style is, what your flair is. If you are an influencer, what resonates most with what you want people to think of your brand.
Yeah. And Visco's cool because you can, at the end of the edit, you can apply it to all the photos you've taken. So say you did 30 photos at home, you can say copy edits and paste and easy.
Love it.
And then this is where I'm going to run through a couple posing tips. So we've talked about this so many times, slightly higher angle. If you're taking someone's photo, you be slightly above them, step on that little step stool. Yeah, Vanessa's doing it. You got to hold it up just a little bit higher. Now, I get this a lot. People say, oh, I hate my chin. I don't like how my chin looks. I have like triple chins. So my little thing that I like to tell people is just pretend there's a little shelf right there. So from the side, you're going to go like this. You're going to go little shelf, just tiny little movement. It's like maybe an inch forward and you're putting your chin on a little invisible shelf. Yes, Vanessa.
I might have worked that before.
And that eliminates so many double chins, so many triple chins. Another thing is that if you're genuinely smiling and laughing, you go like this. You tilt your chin back, and that's going to make all those. So when you have to just think and focus when you're laughing and smiling in your photo to not do that. Just kind of point your chin down, and that's going to eliminate all the chins.
Love it.
And then turning your shoulders just slightly away, it'll really like reduce, it makes people thinner if they say like, I don't feel comfortable, like I want to look a little thinner in my photos. That always helps, just to turn slightly away. And then my last thing is that have so much fun, be totally silly, be outrageous, play your favorite music. It's just a photo, so the music isn't going to show in it. Dance, go over the top, because that little coming down from being outrageous and absurd is actually the best. You're going to look your best in those photos.
Always. And that's the truth. Like, you should think of this as a fun afternoon activity, right? Like, have your favorite food for lunch, make yourself a latte or tea, like try on clothes that make you feel amazing, play your favorite music. I will definitely say that of all the shoots that we've done, Maggie and I have probably done 7 or 8 different huge day-long photo shoots. It's always the pictures where I was genuinely laughing or genuinely being playful that I like the best.
Yeah. And you're good at that, Vanessa.
No.
And if people don't do that, I'm like, I gotta like pull it out of them. I'm like, I'm gonna be the goofball dancing here until you dance with me. But you're good at that.
By the way, secret tip, if you can bring a goofball over to your shoot, even if they're not taking the photo, they are magical. They make you actually laugh. They make you not feel silly. They like can hop in photos with you. So if you can get a goofball on your team, do it.
Yes. Awesome.
Okay, so these are extremely practical things that you can do in your house with your phone. You don't need to get professional gear. You don't need to have a whole photo team come in. What's better is to have photos that you actually like of yourself, that are current, that are authentic, that are actually you. It's horrible when you meet someone whose profile picture is 10 years out of date. And it's also a great afternoon activity to invest in your first impression. What I've learned from Maggie is amazing photos can really help with your digital first impression. It's often people's first seeing you. And so you want to like that picture. You want it to be true to yourself. And Maggie, I just want to say thank you so much for all these tips, for giving all this content for us for free, because I know that you usually teach these in your courses.
Thank you for having me, Vanessa. This was so fun.
Okay, so below the video, I'm going to put a link to Maggie's website. I'm going to put a link to some of her favorite gear. I'm going to put a link to her course. There's so many resources that she has on there. I also highly recommend following her on Instagram, because you can actually see her in action. You can see how she takes photos as well. I hope this has inspired you to do a little home video shoot yourself. I would love to see your before and after photos. So send them to us, because then maybe we can put them in a future video. And we also might do a future video on color psychology if you're wondering what colors to wear in your photos. All right, Maggie, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, everyone. Hey, I want to tell you one more thing. You are amazing. The question is, do you know how to share it? I'd love to help. I save my very best tips for my insider subscribers. Subscribe for free at scienceofpeople.com. I know your inbox is sacred, so I promise to send you only emails you will love. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and tap the bell to know when my next video is coming out.